Stories untold, tales that we've spun, quite a few missing, where have they gone? Come and fill your mind with ghosts of the past, now that we're breaking bad. 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 Welcome back to Breaking Bad, and we have such a special guest. You may know her as Maeve, or the queen of sinking ships, or pirates, or any of the other crazy stories I've done. I know her as my best friend. It's Maeve Sally joining us on the Breaking Bad podcast today. Hello, Maeve, and welcome.
Hi, Kaine. Lovely to be back, as always.
So good to have you back. It's so good to have you back. I feel like we're back in COVID again when we started doing it.
It was in our basement, as we like to point out on every episode we do.
And guess what? We both own houses now.
Yeah, that's wild. And we're both in our respective houses.
We are. And we literally, as soon as we could financially do it, we moved away from each other to another country. What's that saying, listeners? Nothing. How's Elton?
Yeah, he's good. It's been raining non-stop for weeks. So poor Elton's just been inside sleeping most of the time.
Not happy. And I guess we have to announce the other addition to the furry family.
Yeah, we've got a little other cat, Nunu, or Nova, or Miss Nono, or I call her Nunu now.
I actually forgot her name was Nova. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, Nunu.
No.
Yeah,
that's so good.
So she's obviously black and white also.
She is.
And she hates the rain even more than Totten.
Bless them. They are birds of a feather in that way. But they're also quite different personality-wise, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. She's super
sweet.
Super cheeky. Yeah, well, no, she's cuddly, she's sweet, she's clumsy.
Oh.
Elton is...
a gentleman.
He's a gentleman. He only gives you cuddles when he decides, but his cuddles are more intense than hers when he does arrive for them. And he is very stealth. What's the word?
Stealthy.
Elegant.
Yeah.
And stealthy.
And graceful.
Like, for all his 7 kilos, fat bastard, he can jump onto a counter without making a noise, he's always been very impressive like that.
I love that. So good. Well, I miss them both. Give them lots of love from me. Have we got a drink?
We've got a little French beer in a glass.
Oh, lovely. I love it. Not branding it. I'm trying to hide as well. I mean, well,
not doing a very good job.
Margaret Thatcher's gold. Yeah, well, cheers, my darling. So good to have you back. And I'm sure, everyone on the podcast is going to be happy to have you back. Everyone who's kind of like listened to the podcast has all said like, oh, you and Maeve's energy and vibe is so good. And it's just so lovely, isn't it?
No pressure then.
No pressure at all. But no, it's
Maybe
so true.
It's just out through exposure because I've been in so many episodes.
No, don't be silly. No, because, for example, our dear friend David Richardson, he came late to the party. He texted me a few days ago and was like, oh my God, dude, I didn't know you had a podcast. I've just listened to episode 1 and episode 3. So Artemisia Gentileschi and Madame Jingshi, of course. And he was like, it's really good. And you and Maeve are really like great together. It's really fun. So I was like, well,
we
thanks,
definitely were on one for Jingshi.
We were.
We had a bit of Prosecco in the nose.
We had quite a bit of Prosecco in the nose, but I think, that's the energy we wanna get. But yes, so today, Maeve, I'll be telling you the story of... So this story is going to be an interesting one because I actually thought about doing it and I'd already started preparing it before we went on our trip to Australia together.
Oh, okay. Little clue there.
Yep, and I remember thinking, if I manage to do this before, it'll be really interesting when we're there. But I guess we'll just have to appreciate it retroactively.
Pardon?
Retroactively.
I thought you said something else. Then.
Oh. Retroanally?
Yeah, or rectum actually.
Oh, rectum actually.
Rectum anally, I guess.
No, it's the porn version of Love Actually. Rectal actually.
Rectal actually is
all
everywhere. All around.
All around. Oh, wow. Brilliant. Well, this is a good start. So, today, Maeve, my darling, I will be telling you the story of Rosaleen Norton, the Witch of King's Cross, Sydney.
Ooh, I like this already.
She's getting witchy. So I'm going to send you a cheeky Google Doc, which only has the... how can I send it to you? Hang on. Is there a chat in
the
this?
chat, darling?
Oh, there's a chat. Where is she? Oh, chat.
Chat.
I know
Don't you
ChatGPT.
work online?
I do, but not... Yeah. So if you open that...
Oh, got a bit of a jump scare there. Those eyebrows.
Yes, the eyebrows. It's definitely... Yeah, it's definitely a choice. I love it, to be honest.
Well, the fashion,
the fashion. But we'll get into it. But, she's given a right stare right at you. Yes, wow. Micro bangs. I mean,
yeah, what are we giving? Like early 20th century, I guess? Yes. Or am I completely off? Late 19th?
No. Very spot on,
much
actually.
Later.
Well, our story, Maeve, begins at 4 a.m. during a violent thunderstorm on October the 2nd, 1917, in Dunedin, New Zealand. So Rosaleen Norton was born, as I said, during a violent thunderstorm. And throughout her life, she would say she was born a witch and point to certain biological features that proved as such. For example, she said she was born with pointy ears, 2 blue marks on her knee that appeared around the age of 7, and a strand of flesh that hung on her arm. Like a skin tag.
Ooh, like a skin tag.
Yeah.
How big's the flesh? Why call it flesh?
Why call it? Yeah, a strand of flesh specifically. Not nice. So her family was...
Did you have a strand of flesh? Because you're a witch, Kaine, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we call it foreskin in... I really can't pitch this to the BBC. Honestly, I just can't be serious enough. So her family was a middle-class Anglican family, and she was the third of 3 sisters, with Cecily and Phyllis both being older. So we've got Cecily, Phyllis, and Rosaleen. I mean, very
classic
20th century.
Names.
Classic. The Nortons moved to Australia when she was about 8. And as a kid, she was already exhibiting the telltale signs of rebellious behaviour. Although I will say they're not your typical ignoring your parents, locking yourself up in your room, etc. She instead refused to live in the house and lived in a tent in the garden instead. She had a pet orb spider called Horace that lived in the entrance to her tent and also owned loads of sorts of different little critters to scare people off, like cats, lizards, tortoises, toads, dogs, and a single goat.
The goat at the end.
Just wait.
What do you mean? How do you even get a spider
to hang out in the
stay there
in the entrance of a tent? How big is the tent? What material is it made out of? Is it like a triangle?
Well, must be, yeah. Old school, you know.
Also, what
like
does an orb spider look? Should I Google it and
canvas.
jump scare myself?
I think they do webs like a... I'm sure...
Oh no, it's got a big bum! No, it's got a big bum.
I think you should sample that yelp that you just did, and you could turn it into.
that was.
Ooh! Oh, you saw the third Google image, didn't you?
Yeah.
The big grey one.
Oh, the grey with. Oh, I don't like the grey and the yellow. See, that's like my instinct.
Oh my god! But we saw those, didn't we, in Australia? You know, the ones that were around all the trees that had all the
Fuck
big,
yeah, in Sydney.
Yeah,
yeah,
was it those?
massive.
Looked like those.
It did. I didn't look too.
Oh,
yeah.
they do have big abdomens.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't like the big abdomens. Like, me before going to the gym.
big, yeah.
Yeah, pretty big. So She claimed she disliked most other children, as well as authority figures, and didn't get on well with her mother, Bina.
So no one,
no.
basically.
She's like, well, I like the orb spider, Horace. What a great
Yeah.
name, too, Horace.
Horace the cat.
I was going to say,
cat
he'd be
names.
like Elton's brother.
Yeah.
Horace and
I
Elton.
do like a classic man's name. For,
Me too, like Charles.
Doesn't work on lady cats, though, so much.
Rosaleen, Phyllis.
Teresa.
Oh. Margaret. So she describes her childhood, and there's going to be a word in there. It's the word shibboleth. Shibboleth, right? Which is a term that means a social tradition, right? So it's like a social tradition that one does. So she describes her childhood as, quote, a generally wearisome period of senseless shibboleths, of prying adults, detestable or depressing children whom I was supposed to like, and parental reproaches.
Shibboleths.
End quote.
Shibboleth. It's giving, well, I don't know if you partook, but Mary in The Secret Garden.
Yes, doesn't like anyone.
Just like big sourpuss.
Yeah, right.
Loves the outside.
Oh, well, there you go. She always knew she was different, and as a teenager of 13, she discovered paganism, decided to devote her life to the practice of witchcraft, and more specifically, the worship of the Greek god Pan.
Ooh.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes, very good film. So Norton was enrolled at Church of England Girls' School, where she was eventually expelled for being disruptive and drawing images of demons, vampires, and other such beings, which the teachers claimed had a corrupting influence on other pupils. So she was like the original girl goth of the 1930s, like
literally
the Australian Mona the Vampire. Mona the Vampire.
That show.
I miss that show. I had I thought of it the other day. Remember Jack, my flatmate, the old one?
Yeah.
We were getting, having some drinks one night, and we just was like, can you remember Mona the Vampire? And we put the fucking...
Really?
Yeah, and we put the theme tune on, and it was all coming back to me. It was like...
That's so funny, because I saw a reel the other day that posts old
2000
theme tunes, and it was Mona the Vampire. And I'd completely forgotten about. And I specifically remember the episode where they had new cooks in the school, and they were called Sam and Ella, and they were giving people Sam and Ella.
Sam and Ella, where's your
they're
bagel?
evil, they're making everyone ill. But
oh my God,
actually,
that's brilliant.
It was just salmonella in the chicken, and that was how I found out about salmonella.
She was she was just a bit of a goth girl who had a huge, great imagination, didn't she? And she kind of thought everything was going on, and you didn't know whether it was real or not.
Well, I think that was that's the thing, isn't it? Because as a kid, you're like, no, she's definitely a vampire, right?
Yeah.
All these stupid adults that don't believe that everyone's actually a monster, but then they couldn't just go full throttle with the vampire. They had to then kind of temper, because it's England, I guess, temper the imagination by saying actually she's just a bit of a big imagination.
I think that's quite a beautiful metaphor on society when you think about it.
Well,
anyway,
if you think so.
Let's get back to our own Mona the Vampire. She, after getting kicked out of the Church of England Girls' School, she began attending the East Sydney Technical College, studying art under the sculptor Rainer Hoff, a man who encouraged her artistic talent and whom she greatly admired. So following her art college studies, Rosaleen set herself up to become a professional writer, with the newspaper Smith's Weekly publishing a number of her horror stories in 1934 when she was 16. After which they gave her the job as a journalist and then as an illustrator, which is so cool, isn't it? I think that's so cute. She went out there and just was like, bam. However, her graphic illustrations were deemed too controversial and she lost her job at the paper.
Oh no! Isn't that so cool? She got a job.
Yeah,
she's just too much for everyone.
She really is. This is quite a quite a badass theme all the way through. So shortly after this, her mother Bina, with whom she didn't really get on with, as we said, just one of the many people she did not get on with, passed away sadly. So she kind of took that moment to move out of her family home and kind of financially become independent and just kind of was like, I'm out of here. Which I think, she probably, some would say, started doing that when she went and lived in a tent instead of living in the house.
Sure, it sounds like she's always wanted to carve her own path.
Exactly, to emancipate herself. So she left home and sought employment as an artist model, working for painters such as Norman Lindsay. And to supplement this income, as we've all done, she also took up other forms of work such as a hospital's kitchen maid, which actually I haven't done, but a waitress.
We've all done.
Yeah, we've all done. And the last one, a toy designer, which, we've all done, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I still remember the first toy I designed.
Oh, I bet. What was it?
I don't know. Piece of pipe cleaner.
I was going to say something phallic, I'm sure.
Oh.
So, sorry. I've not gotten better over the years. So meanwhile, she'd taken up a room in the Ship and Mermaid Inn, which overlooked Circular Quay, Sydney. So this is where I'd like you to go back to your little Google Docs, if you can, please, Marjani.
Please.
Okay, if you go to page 2.
Circular Quay, just behind the Sydney Opera House.
So we went there, didn't we?
We did, I remember.
Yeah, when we came off that boat right there to the, in that little bit where it comes in the dock. And
did we come off at Circular Quay?
We came off at Circular Quay.
Yeah, you go under the Harbour Bridge,
yep.
Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Exactly. And then we popped off. And remember, I think we got a little ice cream or something. I went and peed, definitely, in the public toilet.
Did you pee in the public toilet? Or did you pee in the public area?
No, actually, Australia had loads of toilets. They were very toilet friendly. Even though I love to pee à la française and the Frenchie in the wild.
And then I think we walked through the botanical gardens.
So we actually went up there and we crossed over that road and we went up into the green. And then that's where and Ellie was telling us about how, I can remember it so well. Ellie was telling us about how Dewey proposed. Like when they did.
Yeah, he proposed there.
Yeah, exactly.
She showed us the spot.
Yeah, exactly. Showed us the spot. And then we walked down and then we walked back up Royal Botanic Garden. And then we must have got somewhere back to wherever we were.
And then we walked for fucking ages actually, because we walked all the way back up through the gardens to get to somewhere. And then I think we might have even just walked back to our flat, which was in Darlinghurst.
Yeah. So you've got it all there on the map.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map as we speak. Yeah, well, big walk that was. Yeah, stretched our legs.
It was. Good. And so King's Cross, as you can see in red there. So she, that's where. So she was living in Circular Quay, so very central, literally on the Opera House.
Literally.
Yeah, quite fascinating.
Was it built then?
No, it wasn't like that at all. It was the quay was built. Yeah, because it's called Circular Quay.
Yeah, but not the opera. Yeah.
The Opera House. No. Wait. Sydney Opera House building release opening. It was 1973, so nope.
Oh
my God,
late.
It was not. Well, yeah, because it was 10 years late and went over 1,357%. It's over budget. It was famously, that was another story. It was basically a design competition won by Danish architect Jorn Utzon. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. And basically it took so much money to make and so long. They started selling lottery tickets, which would be like, the money that you pay to get a lottery ticket, something like that, will be then you'll be able to say with pride, I helped build the Sydney. But I'm like, isn't that supposed to be taxes anyway? Well,
how wild.
Very wild. That's a whole other Breaking Bad. But yeah, so she was living in a little room in the Ship and Mermaid Inn, which, as I said, overlooked the Circular Quay neighbourhood. So there she began reading various books on the subject of Western esoteric tradition, including those on demonology, the Kabbalah, and comparative religion. So, yeah, she's starting to get into things.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to go...
I like the word esoteric.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means, though.
It's a nice word. Religious, isn't it? Really? Like spiritual.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's like
I've only
knowledge
ever
you
heard
teach
it-
only to a specific little group. Like,
I guess I've only ever heard it in relation to like religion or something. Like when it gets, but I guess it's like you'd say it when it gets a bit niche.
Yeah.
You know, if you go really into the deep kind of, you know, oh well, this is a bit esoteric.
yeah, yes.
But if you care about this detail,
Gotcha.
you know, like
It's like when you and I.
this is what Hera said to Zeus when, you know.
Yeah, it's like when you and I get drunk and just talk about like languages
we're
or
very
anything
esoteric.
really. We are the definition of esotericism. So let's get into, if you will, journey with me into her experimentation with the occult. We just need
The
one of your
occult.
black cats to come up in the background. So in her early 20s, she started experimenting with self-hypnosis. She believed there was a way of accessing different realms and realities, and she would frequently draw these mystical beings that she claimed to be able to communicate with when she was accessing these realities. So I put, like a sip and paint with your demonic bestie. She would also write while practicing self-hypnosis. So some call it automatic writing. And would say she noticed her handwriting changing depending on who she was in tune with. So one day, she claims, she began communicating with a friend who'd passed away and immediately recognized their handwriting, which I have to say, Maeve, if it was
that's
you, I
spooky.
definitely-
Well, don't throw stones, I would say, because yours isn't so sharp either.
I got a compliment the other day on mine. They were like, "Oh, very loopy and cursive." I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry,
look.
Maeve. No.
Well,
I just thought it'd be funny.
No. I have got a notebook right here, and actually.
Yeah, let's show the people. How very esoteric.
No, I think when I apply myself,
Yeah.
but I do have the curse of whenever I try, my handwriting I think is okay when I do try and make it look nice,
Yeah.
but I often lose track, and I just, the more I want it to look nice, the more I'm going to make some kind of mistake.
Yeah.
Or, you know, that famous time I wrote a card for Quentin and I made the card myself and did like bubble writing and it
bless
already
you.
looked like it was made by a 10-year-old, and then I missed out the H, so it said happy birthday. And I didn't even notice until I gave it to him.
And he, the French speaker, was like, Shash, I think you
Thanks,
left out the H. Thanks, darling.
No, he put it on the mantelpiece and then Finn saw it. I was like, Maeve.
Oh, brilliant. So yeah,
that's
all
an
that to say,
example.
I would definitely, I'd recognize you from a million miles, my darling. Anything about you. But so that's what so apparently she spoke with this friend. Like she did this, talking to her friend through herself for about 10 months. and
Wow.
very like pen pal from the other side, if you will. And through this writing, she said she felt she was able to gain the, quote, rough outlines of a philosophical and metaphysical conception of the universe and life after death.
She likes big words, this one,
She
doesn't she?
does. So she was like basically chatting to my dead friend through my own writing. I've kind of come up with everything I know what life's about now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've got outlines of it. Which, you know, if you have a great group chat, you know, there are times like that where, you know, when there's gifts and sticks of fire and you're just like,
Yeah,
this is
when
what it's
flowing and
about.
the energy is there.
Very esoteric.
Your word of the day.
My new vocal stem. So, one of these things that she discovered while chatting to her dead bestie would become her, what she called her supreme desire. And would be the successful transition into another realm of conscience and to be able to live consciously the type of life that is typical after physical death. So to be able to basically go into heaven or the realm of where she believes you go and kind of go there and experience it and then come back and not die. That's what she feels like she wants to be able to do.
Like the Tanatonot.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm getting all these references to media. Yeah. Bernard Werber, isn't it?
Bernard Werber. Bernard
And they
Werber.
literally travel. Bernard Werber.
Yes, Maeve. Do you want to
Bernard Werber.
Yeah.
And they call the Thanatonot, which are like astronauts for death, I guess.
Brilliant. I love
Thanos, death.
Yeah, brilliant.
I don't know. And they literally learn how to travel into, heaven.
Yeah.
I suppose. They meet the angels and everything.
And it's
Yeah,
so
it all goes a
amazing
bit loopy.
because it's all about physical. It's like
Yeah.
them going away through their mind, but they're actually doing
scientific,
the distance.
you know. Mm.
Like they leave their body and they keep going. And they
Yeah,
have
and
to
then
go
they
up
have
and
to
up
go
and
up, and there's
And it's really hard to get sometimes. And they're like, I need something to push me through.
there's loads of different stages.
I want to read that book again, actually. You're making me want to. It was really good. It got a bit crazy after.
They're attached by
Yes.
a ficelle.
Yeah. Like a sort of string.
No, it was good. Yeah, I lost it a bit by the third book, to be fair, but
Yeah, me too.
it was fine. And then I read the Microhumans, and that was a step too far. That was
Yeah.
a bit strange.
Because we did exactly the same thing. It was during COVID, didn't we?
Maybe pre.
It was during
you know?
living together.
For sure.
Les micro-humains. That was. Yeah, Bernard needs to stop the old weed pipe for sure. Allegedly. But so she's basically doing that. She starts working at it by trying to leave her own body. So she's doing it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And after just a month, which is pretty good if you're starting something.
Yeah, not bad.
She says she basically feels like she's starting to do it. She feels her body pause, her breathing slow. But just when she's on the edge, she's interrupted by someone. Which I'm like...
That's literally the life of every mother, isn't it?
I'm like, lock your door.
Trying to have some peace and quiet.
In it. Just 5 minutes, please. I'm like, lock your door maybe, or don't live in a like sort of inn. Bless her heart. But so she's like, okay, we're going to go back at it again. And she starts to, as well as like automatic writing, she starts relying on clairaudience. So she starts relying on that. And one day while she's hanging out the washing, she hears the voice of this dead friend instead of the writing. And
she's gone up a level.
She's gone up a level, all that working out, the brain. So she tells her, this friend, that she would soon experience an interplane transition within the next few months. So she's, spoiler alert.
She can tell the future now, can she?
Yeah, well, her dead friend can, because...
her dead friend.
Yeah. Her friends come and gone like, Angel, you're going to come out.
You're going to get a clairvoyance thing soon.
Also, use a different detergent because you've got eczema and... You've got sensitive skin while she's out washing up. So a month later, again, only a couple of weeks later, she claims she experiences again this feeling of dissolution where she leaves her metaphysical body and enters her plasmic body.
Ooh.
Way.
What may that be?
I don't know. But while in there, in that plasmic body, she says she becomes aware of how thoughts could manifest into sensuous experiences, both good and bad, which is quite complex to even imagine for the mere, apprentice witches like you and I. But she basically, I think the idea is like you just think a thought and it's like you're experiencing it. So it's like everything is, wow. She becomes, she says, the embodiment and very essence of an idea. So,
wow. So she's like dropping acid.
Well, she was actually dropping acid at the time.
But tu m'étonnes. I mean,
no wonder.
Oh, I wonder why I'm feeling all these things.
So that was coming a little bit later, but she said she used LSD to enhance her visions, quote unquote. But she says she didn't use it recreationally because she was aware of how dangerous it is.
Yes.
So, she'd do it to do her art, and obviously, yeah.
Yeah, be warned. Only for apprentice witches. It's
literally
serious business.
So, it would be sexual as well. She believed that one could experience sexual feelings in every plane, and that they would be even more intense the more you left your body.
How many planes are there?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I want to know. Because I'm getting bored of it. No, I'm joking.
I've only got the 3. 3?
3? Where'd you get your plane from?
There's a sex shop down the road.
Oh, brilliant. Hang on, my fucking ring light. Oh, my God. Yeah, I love it because, like, Australia, like, having been there, so many people surfboarding, you know, going to bingo, doing all these experiences. She sat there dropping LSD, dropping acid, and freaking, yeah, just going on surfing into a different plane.
Just having out of body experiences.
Love that. I mean, why not? So all these experimentations were the foundation of her mythology and her belief system that she would work towards her whole life. So, yeah, she's also very ahead of her time because remember, this is like in the 30s and 40s. And New Age counterculture didn't really hit the mainstream until well into the 60s worldwide.
Well, I was going to say, sounds like she could have, hung out with the hippies, except instead of peace and love, it's like dead people and
plasma
witches.
and sex.
So, maybe not quite aligned in the thought process, but the tools are there.
The tools are definitely there. And so, yeah, especially in like a conservative Christian nation like Australia, it was very conservative and Christian, as I just said. Rosaleen was just 17 when she crossed paths with Beresford Lionel Conroy, a charming wanderer with a taste for adventure. 5 years later, in December 1940, they married and immediately set off on a hitchhiking trek across Australia, driving from Sydney to Melbourne, so the other way. Then up the coast through Brisbane and all the way up to Cairns. Like us.
Hey, we did that.
We did, and we've got the tattoo to show it. Get out your Shelley. Shelley unite. I love it. So, they didn't go alone though, Maeve. They had a third passenger with them.
Okay.
Her cat called Jeffrey.
Ah, Jeffrey.
How cool.
See, again, an old man's name.
Perfect for cats.
It's just perfect for cats. I really can't say it more.
I freaking love it. No, yeah, so Jeffrey would go with them. Apparently, he'd go into the man's little bag, his little strap bag, his little satchel, and he'd just chill there and he'd, meow and just like chill at people. And so hitchhiking people would take them, be in the car with them.
I love a cat you can bring everywhere.
Dream.
Isn't that the dream?
That's the
I saw
real
people
dream.
would have a cat on a boat and the cat, like, they take him ashore and they just leave him to have a little wander. And when he wants to come back, sometimes he calls them for them to, like, come with the paddle and pick him up. But sometimes he just swims back and he'll, like, swim in the sea to get back to the boat. Isn't that the
That's so
cutest?
cute. Is that like that cat that it's on the board, there's a video and she's approaching the boat and then she goes, not yet, and then it jumps and just jumps straight into the ocean. She's like, you see it going and they're still like 5 meters away and the cat's just not in distance. Freaking love that cat. So yeah, so Jeffrey, how cute.
Oh, good for Jeffrey.
Yeah, I
I'm
love
glad
that.
He's there.
So, when they returned to Sydney after, road tripping as we did, and we loved it, we saw the Blue Mountains, Katoomba, we saw Port Macquarie, Macquarie. We got loads and loads of oat lattes, iced lattes with oat milk.
Iced, obviously.
And a cheeky bit of caramel syrup for you and the girls. Keeping it.
Yeah.
So many good brunches. Just happy, sexy.
They do know how to do a brunch.
people.
They do know how to smash an avocado.
Oh, God. The avocado was just getting smashed.
Not that it comes from there at all.
No, I mean, white people, huh? So, when they got back to Sydney, Conroy enlisted as a commando and shipped out to New Guinea, which, with a name like Beresford Lionel, I feel like you're going to be a commando, you're going to go off to war.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. It could have been like writer vibes. But
Oh, yes,
yeah,
Beresford,
Commando.
very true. I think it's the
Beresford, yeah.
it's the
Do you
addition
know what I'm
of
thinking
Conroy
of?
at the end,
Berenstain
too.
Bears.
Oh, Berenstein Bears.
I said Bears.
Birds.
Bernstein Bears. The Berenstain Bears. So is this for the war?
It is, Maeve.
No, the big one. Well, the second big one.
Yeah,
Number 2.
it is. Second one. Rosaleen was left behind with her because of that, and with little support, she ended up living in a stable during the war years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she was quite. She didn't mind. She didn't need, electricity.
Well, maybe she didn't have a choice.
That's a very good point. Yeah, she did not have a choice. I mean, all of the jobs she was trying to get, it seemed like I kept kicking her out because of her wacky images, and she didn't really like anyone either. So maybe in the stable.
She really is.
Loves animals.
It feels like a more modern, I mean, obviously in the past, but a more modern incarnation of like a witch and a wise woman, like back in medieval times, a bit pushed out by society, lives out in a hut out in the woods up on a hill with loads of mist and all her herbs and animals around her, or like a kind of Circe vibes, even if we go into Greek mythology. Witchiness is tinged with isolation.
The isolated woman with knowledge.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of that historically is because of, because, people didn't accept women who were different.
Exactly.
But maybe that's still the case for her, I suppose.
Well,
is it just witches, are born to be?
Well, I think maybe they really encompass the definition of being very esoteric. So they're only specifically for a small group, so people just don't understand them. But we do, and we love them. So, husband. By the time he came home, she'd had enough. She'd been living on her own. She'd been like, do you know what? It's not going well.
Oh, no.
The divorce dragged on for years, but it finally became official in 1951. So she's back to being just her
51.
and a cat. 1951, yeah, so probably like 7 years divorce, actually.
Worth.
But she did other stuff. Like don't worry, she's met other people. She's done other stuff. That's kind of just giving you the end of this man.
The official kind of.
I think we're back into 1941, 42 or 43. So, newly single, Rosaleen moved into the Marangaroo, which is this... Marangaroo, which is this like ramshackle boarding house in the Rocks. So, right next to Circular Quay, again.
Yes, Sydney Rocks.
Sydney Rocks, where we had our lovely oysters. No, the Sydney Rock oysters.
Sydney Rock oysters are famous, yeah.
I'm hungry. I
do
want
love a
them.
Sydney Rock oyster. Don't you
do.
sound like such an asshole when... no, but like...
Yeah.
I'm at Christmas, I live near where you can get arguably the best oysters in France. Brittany, people don't come for me, please. Il Doléron. And... you're getting those, and I'm like, oh yeah, but my favourite oysters are Sydney Rock oysters. You're like, oh.
Don't worry about the Brittany people. French people can't speak English. They won't be listening to this podcast. But no, you're so right. I've said that to many people. Oh, I just love your oysters, and I do think after, God, I sound like a wanker. Hey, she's an aphrodisiac. So she, just west of Circular Quays, known for its eccentric communal energy. So it's a hostel. She's basically a boarding house living with all these different people, like when I lived in Hackney Wick.
Literally.
But probably didn't have any windows or heating either.
Oh yeah, would have been squalid.
But probably had great murals and stuff like, you can use my avocados, free communal rock salt. So she loved it, obviously. She threw herself back into illustration work and soon found a home at a free-thinking magazine called Pertinent, run by a poet called Leon Batt.
What a name.
Honestly, there are some great names. Leon Batt. So Batt...
What are you batting, Leon?
Oh, wow. Let's find out, shall we? Batt adored her increasingly pagan-infused artwork, calling her, quote, an artist worthy of comparison with some of the best continental, American, and English contemporaries.
Oh.
That's very high praise. So she contributed both art and poetry to his anthology, Not for Fools, and exhibited alongside Selina Muller in 1943. A Pix magazine profile from the time captured her describing her paintings as, quote, psychic experiments drawn from the unconscious, a hint of the mysticism that would define her later reputation. So we're going to go back to the Pix, my darling, if you can, to show you these lovely paintings.
Oh, that's...
Yep.
She's really striking,
She's very striking. Can you imagine?
I think it's the eyebrows.
The eyebrows.
I mean, she's plucked them up.
So high.
So high.
Leaning into that occult.
But nice hair. I mean,
it's pretty
that
cool
would be
hair.
Really sought after these days.
Yeah, it would. You're right. But
modern cut. People love a curly cut.
Very short. Yeah, and so, you know, the woman behind her looks a bit...
She's got a sphinx on her
Yeah,
shirt.
she's got a sphinx on her shirt. I really like that.
And she's painting a sphinx.
I don't know if that's a sphinx.
Is she into... Well, I don't know.
It's like a weird... It looks like a demon. So she used to say that she would paint, basically, like, when she was doing her, like, experiments, she would be shown by the different gods that she would meet, like Pan and all these people. They would show her what they wanted her to see of them. So she was, you know, the gods don't show the true form because we wouldn't be able to handle it, you know, kind of vibes. And so a lot of her kind of art would be, you know, she believed these different kind of what she was being given by the gods. So if you go down as well to a third page or fourth page.
Oh, wow. We're getting some paintings.
We're getting some paintings. So the one on the left is called Faux Hat.
That is devilish.
It is. And if you look at it closely, he's got a serpent penis.
Oh, that's the penis.
Yeah, it's a snake.
Didn't realise that was attached.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Follow it. And the one on the right is called The Seance.
And is that a fidget spinner in his hand? What's he doing?
It does look like a fidget spinner. My God.
Wow.
The first person to try and, you know, occupy the minds of many ADHD people.
Yeah, spooky.
I think that's Pan. That looks like Pan with his
Could
horns.
be. Although, yeah, I guess. No, yeah, it makes sense that it would be, of course.
Of course,
yeah.
she loved Pan. And so the one on
Pan
the right...
was all about the animals, wasn't he? And the music.
And
the
music
folklore.
and sex and everything. It was like, yeah, he was nature incarnate. And so on the right, it's the seance. I think that's like her riding Pan.
Oh, her. Oh, she's... Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like put on his hair a little bit. It's kind of kinky.
Yeah, super kinky. Like tits out and everything.
Yeah. So you can imagine that 40s.
Not ready for this.
They were not
at
ready
all.
for this at all. So yeah,
That's way too much.
It's a bit much. So yeah, so at Person, at this magazine, Rosaleen meets a man called Gavin Greenleaf, and he was a poet. He was quite younger than her, so about 10 or so years younger, or 12. But yeah, he was a surrealist poet from a very respectable family who had already been published in major Australian outlets, with his first poem appearing when he was just 12.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Protégé.
yeah, kind of, I think maybe a perfect match for Rosaleen, because a bit weird, precocious, and quite creatively...
Yeah.
Feral.
Feral. I was going to say old soul, but that's
Love.
more peaceful. Feral is a good word.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. They do hit it off. The two apparently became inseparable almost immediately. They shared the same offbeat humour, the same mystical obsessions, and the same willingness to hitchhike across the country with nothing but their art supplies and Jeffrey the cat.
Oh, she's off again.
She's off again, and so is Jeffrey.
So she got the cat then in the divorce.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can't take a
Jeffrey's
cat from a
her
witch.
familiar.
Yeah, no, he really is actually. So by mid-1949, they were on the road to Melbourne looking for a venue bold enough to host her art. They eventually landed at the Roden White Library at the University of Melbourne, where 46 of her works went on display. Pieces like Timeless Worlds, Merlin, Lucifer, and The Initiate. But the expedition barely lasted 2 days. On day 2, police stormed in and seized 4 paintings they deemed obscene.
No.
Yeah, so the one that you saw, Faux Hat with the serpent penis, that was one of the ones that was taken.
Right.
People at the time were shocked And yeah, newspapers were just like writing about it, like, it's obscene. So Rosaleen was actually charged.
Police, though.
Yeah, she was actually charged under the Police Offences Act for obscenity. Yeah.
That's insane.
It is. So this
I mean, you should look at the drawings on the roof of the Duomo in Florence. They're well gross.
Love it. Get those classics. Bust,
Yeah,
push.
arrest the Duomo.
Arrest the Duomo. But thankfully, her lawyer pointed out that the state library already held books on satanic occultism with artwork far more explicit. So the court agreed to drop the charges, and she was awarded compensation for it.
Ooh,
So
you go, lawyers.
Yeah, so the whole, good lawyer. Like, where did you pull that one out?
Very.
The whole ordeal only cemented her reputation as a provocateur who refused to bow to the establishment. So after that little, cheeky, I guess, hitchhike and kind of... Well, imagine you going to a city just to, like, put a few paintings up. It's like I go to do a gig, fucking get arrested, get charged,
arrested.
you're obscene,
Nuts.
win, bit of
What
money.
about Jeffrey?
Jeffrey was fine, I'm sure. He was just sat there.
I'm sure.
Maybe she used him to be like, my cat. She probably used the money to buy him some kibble on the way home. So after Melbourne, Rosaleen and Gavin returned to Sydney and moved into an attic at 179 Brougham Street in King's Cross. So this is where she moved to King's Cross. And it was basically the red light district area at the time. And it was kind of like the beating heart of Sydney's bohemia. It was really where all the artists and sex workers and everyone lived. So they moved into this house that apparently was owned by a barrister who sadly committed suicide, which I'm just like, it's typical them to be drawn to a place like, yeah.
For sure.
And
She's moved around a lot.
she's moving around, but always in Sydney and always in that kind of, they live in the attic. And their home was exactly what you could be imagining. So animal bones, occult murals that she painted, incense, altars, and a sign on the door that read, "Welcome to the house of ghosts, goblins, werewolves, vampires, witches, wizards, and poltergeists."
So all the spooky
All
shit.
the spooky shit.
Every single one. Vampires as well. Fucking hell.
She loved it. So the two thrived there. They became beloved in the local creative community, exhibiting in coffee shops where they were inventing the oat flat white. Alhamdulillah, which we love, thank God.
Thank you for the inventions.
Thank you for that. Hosting late night salons and being invited to every social gathering because they were, by all accounts, an absolute riot to hang out with. So,
I'm sure.
Yeah, so actually, if you go to page 5...
Oh,
you can
chess.
Yeah. and you
Little
can
chess
see,
night surrounded by paintings. Are these all her paintings?
Yeah, these are all her paintings.
Oh, I can see the Tits McGee.
Yeah,
riding
the
on
seance
devil.
in the back. Well done, well spotted, Maeve. And there she is, entertaining. She looks
Is she there in the back there?
Yeah, she's in the red.
Oh, wow.
Very sharp little mouth-like, isn't she?
Very sharp.
I don't-
Yes.
yeah.
In that picture, kind of giving...
Yzma. She's
Yzma, Definitely.
Yzma. Back to our witchy wonders.
Witchy wallflowers.
Oh, witchy wallflowers. Yeah, so people loved
They're
hanging
not
out with. No, they're
wallflowers,
not.
are
They're
they?
completely right in your face. They're like, look at my paintings. Come and appreciate me. But in 1951, police arrested them for vagrancy, Maeve. Which I don't know if you know what that is. I
what were
didn't.
they
but
doing?
vagrancy is basically a law that says, you can be arrested if you've not got what is deemed a proper job.
Really?
Yep. So if you're homeless, you can be arrested for not having a job. That's what it was like at the time.
Crazy.
So literally, France could never. Everyone would be fucking arrested every 2 days.
Steady.
Well, I mean, that's mad. Yeah. So they're arrested. They have to pay a little fine. Blah,
Well,
blah, blah.
that's like, I guess, they assume they're like not, they're a hindrance to society, right? You know, haven't you got anything better to do than hang around these streets all day?
Yeah, you need to contribute to society kind of vibes. Yeah. So then they're like, look, we need to kind of find something official. Because they were, they were selling their art. They were just artists, like, struggling artists and probably podcasters if they could have done. I mean... Not long after that, though, they met publisher Walter Wally Glover, who was so impressed by the pair that he decided to not only hire them as both kind of writers, journalists, like for freelance bits, but he also decided to publish a book featuring Rosaleen's art and Gavin's poetry. So it would have her art on one page, his poems on the other.
Oh, what a match made in heaven.
It was. And,
or in hell.
Well... The result was called, so it was called The Art of Rosaleen Norton, and it was published in 1952. So no mention of his poems in the title, but I guess she was the star, if you will. The book caused immediate chaos. So it was like in good bits and bad bits. So the American consul ordered a copy bound in bat skin.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, was that something that you could do?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
they didn't just, have a on a whim go.
Well, no, I think
we want it in bat skin.
No, I think they might have.
No, but surely it must have been like a covered type that existed, don't you think?
I don't know.
Like you could have a leather bound, or they did weird shit back then, and
yeah, it's true.
Like ivory. Knives and forks and shit, everything's made out of elephant tusks.
That's true. There is no evidence of books historically or commonly bound in bat skin. No, so the American consul were like, we want a copy and we want it like bound in bat skin.
'Cause vampires? What freaks?
Yeah, freaks. The Pakistani embassy asked them to produce an erotic book based on Pakistani temple art. I'm like, what's wrong with all these embassies? Like, they're like, who is working at these embassies? Like, embassies, they're just horny, weird.
Yeah,
animal.
They'll have some like powerful guy who's like, I really want a book. I like this temple art. Can I bring it home? And the guy at the embassy is like, oh,
I mean,
fuck.
yeah.
We don't. Surely they have artists in Pakistan. I mean,
yeah, for sure. But they were probably like, oh, we couldn't. Maybe it was very even more conservative back then. So they were like, oh, let's get her to do it. But yeah, people used to eat actual dead mummy corpses. So people were weird. The Postmaster General threatened prosecution because some of the women in the pubic. I got it. I fucked it. Some of the women in the pubic. Some of the women in the book had pubic hair, like the art. She'd drawn.
Oh, come on, hair. Free the bush. Let's get over this.
Free the bush. So newspapers called it, quote, the most indecent publication in Australian history, end quote.
Oh, and they should be proud of that.
Yeah. So the publisher, Wally, was charged with
just from my face.
Yeah. I can't call someone Wally with you in front of me.
Wally.
Walter.
Wally.
Willy Wally.
What a
Wally. It just kind of makes whatever you say after him seem so unserious.
Willy Wally. Yeah.
Walter was charged with producing an indecent publication, and Rosaleen had to appear in court to explain the psychological symbolism of her work, referencing Freudian and Jungian theory. So she was like, guys, everyone's doing this. It's just like, if you look at Europe,
Freud.
It's just Freud, basically.
Sorry, but it's just art, isn't it? Like, what do you mean she had to explain it? Do they think... I bet they got scared the shit out because they're like, she's actually doing satanic rituals and we need her to explain that it's just art and it's just something. Because otherwise, this is getting really, really spooky. Grow up, boys.
Literally. It's a very good point, Maeve. And you're on the nose, to be honest. Walter was charged with producing indecent publication. She had to appear in court to explain, and in the end, he, the publisher, was fined £5 plus costs. 2 of her paintings were officially deemed obscene and, quote, an offence to chastity and delicacy. Whatever the fuck that means. So the real tragedy, though, was that the book was then banned, destroying its commercial potential and effectively ruining the publisher, poor old Wally's career.
Oh,
Career.
Wally.
I said career. Wally's career.
Oh, poor Wally.
Yeah. So Rosaleen, however, gained notoriety from this
I'm
and
sure she
commissions. So, you know.
From all the dirty bastards out there.
So this is exactly. So this is when the tabloids began calling her the Witch of King's Cross. So she kind of did not too bad out of this, you know. She developed a cult following. Fans would visit her in coffee shops and even ask, like, in front of her to show off. They'd be like, can we get some bat blood in our drinks? They didn't do bat blood. Why are they all obsessed with bats? Leave it alone.
Why?
She
They're an
actually hated
endangered
this
species.
because she was an animal rights advocate.
Right.
So that's the thing. So other people like stole the number off of her front door. Like people were a bit like, oh my God, like it's crazy. Like they became fangirling a bit. Pick Mishas, if you will. So despite the headlines, she insisted she was not a witch or a Satanist. She was an occultist and a devotee of Pan, the Greek god of nature, wilderness, and sex. So she was like, I'm not this, you know, double trouble.
I'm not into all these blood rituals and killing animals and whatnot.
She loves Geoffrey the cat.
I'm Pan, yeah.
I
well,
am Pan.
Or a representative.
Yeah, no, she chats with Pan. So from when she was little, she really never considered herself a witch. Not in the way that people, you know, accused her of being in the tabloids. And I know I started the story with her saying she was born a witch, etc. That would be when she tells the tabloids later on when she's getting interviews. So she does lean into it, right? But she's doing that to lean into that because why the hell not? Like, she's like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. But hey, if it means I'll sell some paintings. Because the girl's getting charged with vagrancy every 2 weeks. So
literally, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's just a highly spiritual woman with a strange imagination. And,
absolutely. Creative.
Allegedly a deep spiritual connection to our ancient gods.
Beautifully said.
Well, you know, what are you going to do?
Write that on her mural on her front door. This house. So there was, though, in the 50s, one incident. It came to a boil, if you will. One woman, and you won't believe her name, it's Anna Karenina.
Okay.
So random. It's got nothing to do with it, but interesting.
Well, I guess, you know, it must be the name Karenina, and then they're like, oh, we'll call her Anna.
Yeah, probably. But apparently she had mental health problems, this woman. She was arrested after swearing at a police officer, and she claimed her behaviour was the result of attending a black mass led by Rosaleen. Yeah, so the tabloids pounced, painting her as a Satanist who sacrificed roosters, worshipped the devil, was doing all of this like sex magic, which to be honest, she was, but that's for later on. But Rosaleen was furious. She despised animal cruelty and had zero interest in Satanism. Her sexuality also fascinated the press. She was openly bisexual and enjoyed relationships with gay men because she preferred being the more active partner. With women, she often took the dominant role, and she was unapologetic about all of it. So she was kinky too. She had like dom and sub kind of vibes, depending if she was with the men or women. And yeah, she started incorporating sex magic into her rituals. And as I told you, she'd kind of go with Gavin Greenleaf. They'd kind of created their coven. So around this time, she and Gavin both befriended Sir Eugene Goossens, who was the director. No, strange name.
These names.
Goossens, I know.
Goossens.
I mean, one day people would be like,
Eugene is a...
befriended Kaine Pieri and Maeve Sally. No, we've got great names. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
timeless.
sorry. Goossens. Eugene Goossens.
Eugene. I mean, Eugene is a dweeb's name, isn't it? I'm sorry, but like...
Eugene, Gene, we all Gene for Eugene. So he was the director of the Sydney Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, so before the, Sydney famous one, but they
so that
obviously
probably
had
didn't mean much at the time. Then,
no. But no, I think they had big orchestra.
No, I'm sure.
He was drawn in by her book, so he'd managed to get her book before it was like banned, and he texted her. Like, not texted her, but he was like, "Hey girl, I'm kind of into this she." Yeah, he slid. Exactly. And their friendship turned into an affair because Mr. Goossens had a Mrs. Goossens and children. So later...
Eugenia.
No, that would be
you
brilliant.
can't do that.
No. Eugene and Eugenia. No, but so he was, he began to meet up with her, come to the house in King's Cross. They would do sex magic. They'd have like orgies and stuff. And he was part of the coven. He loved it. However, one day he was arrested while in Sydney Airport with hundreds of erotic photographs and ritual objects. So they checked his bag, and he had loads of like erotic photographs of the sex they were having and ritual objects.
Oh, excuse me, sir. Does your bag fit in the box?
This is what I mean.
You're gonna have to take out a few things.
And I'm also like, there must have been a tip off, right?
Wow.
Because
very,
quite coincidentally, this man gets, let's check your bags. And then they check it inside and they're like, you've got obscene things, black magic. So...
Yeah, surely airport staff have got better things to do.
I know. So, he pled guilty. He pleaded guilty, resigned in disgrace and fled Australia.
Carrément. Oh my gosh.
It ruined his life. Oops.
Oops. Just for being kinky?
Yeah, just for wanting a bit of a midlife crisis, probably. Like, awful that he cheated on his wife and stuff, but, sometimes a girl's got to, get down with the metaphysical, or go into that plasmic void. Go into that plasmic body and realm, No,
but also that's between them, and you shouldn't have to leave your country. What business is it of theirs?
But so police pressure intensified. A local restaurant owner was prosecuted simply for displaying her art, and officers raided Rosaleen and Gavin's home and accused them of a, quote, unnatural sexual act based on stolen photographs taken at Rosaleen's birthday party. So apparently it was just like a birthday party they were playing about, whatever. And two disgruntled coven members had tried to sell the images to the Sun for £200. So people would just...
The Sun can do one. I mean, do people in their morality...
Yeah.
Do they not have anything better to do?
No, famously not.
Yeah.
I mean, I say this in every episode at the moment, God, but look at the US at the moment. It's like this moral high ground, It's like... Get over yourselves.
Well, I was going to say, going through and finding those pictures and stuff. That's what happen now when they go through your phone,
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. And some people are being denied visas for it. For memes. At least these were probably well-angled, well-lit, great sexual photographs. So, sad for Goossens, obviously. But actually, her connection with him only deepened her notoriety. Meanwhile, Gavin's mental health, bless his sweet angel heart, started to deteriorate, and he was diagnosed...
Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin Greenleaf. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1957 and began to spend years in and out of institutions. Bless. Rosaleen continued to visit him, would go and see him all the time, would kind of blah, blah, blah. And sometimes he'd be, let out on temporary leave and stuff, but he wasn't doing very well. One day, while Gavin was out on temporary leave from the institution, the police were called to the house after neighbours heard some shouting and some kerfuffles, and they found Gavin with a knife to his own throat.
Oh, no.
He apparently had been pressing it so that there was actual, like, slight bits of blood going down. They asked him if he'd killed Rosaleen, to which he replied something on the lines of, "Not yet, but I'll have to get around to it sooner or later," and then pointed...
Oh, what the fuck?
I know, and then pointed to the basement. So then police found her downstairs at an altar of Pan, praying.
Oh.
Praying, like, she's probably...
No, but I thought he'd, like, locked her down.
No.
But she's in the basement of her own accord.
Yeah.
Like, why am I surprised?
Yeah, no. But, you know, I think he did attack her with a knife. Like, she'd probably locked herself in the basement. She was being domestically abused at that moment. But what's crazy is that when they found her at the altar of her god, they went and bloody arrested her too. For vagrancy.
For vagrancy in your own home?
Again, they're like, "You're not working. You're not working. You shouldn't be praying to anyone else except for a Catholic God. So we're going to arrest you."
But it's, you know, people just, there's a history of paganism.
Oh, but we religious persecution.
They wanted it to be squashed.
Squashed, I tell you.
And they just stole all the celebrations, stole all the key dates, and then slapped a new meaning on it.
Literally.
You know, oh, this one's the birth of Christ.
Literally.
You know,
Rosaleen, as she's being taken away, "Christmas was about Pan."
Easter's actually the celebration of spring.
Yeah. Fucking hell. So by the late 1950s, Rosaleen Norton had become something of a tourist attraction. The infamous Witch of King's Cross that people would literally go sightseeing for. Witchcraft was still illegal in New South Wales, but she didn't hide. She tried to explain her pantheistic beliefs to journalists and continued to worship Pan with absolute sincerity. By this time, she'd really leaned into the whole witch thing too, and she would even wear pointy hats. So go to your last picture.
Oh my God.
It's great.
That's funny.
With
and she
Pan in
looks
the back.
like she's got a right cheeky smile.
She
there,
does,
like,
yeah. I
oh,
love that little... She's like, yeah, do you know what? Fuck it. So to survive, because obviously, you know, she's still at this time, she's kind of not really... She's not got a full-time job or anything. So she sells her paintings. She started making charms, casting spells, and occasionally would read fortunes as well. Some of this was genuine spiritual work to her, but some of it was simply what she needed to do to pay the rent.
Fair enough.
She was leaning on that notoriety. "You're going to call me a witch, bitch?"
If you're going to be labelled, might as well,
Make some dollar out of it in this capitalistic world, am I right? Yeah, because I guess the notoriety brought her attention, but not necessarily stability.
Well, no.
So this is where her personal life grows quieter. She lives briefly with her sister Cecily in Kirribilli, but the domestic setup didn't suit her. It never really had. In 1967, she returns to the Cross, moving into a derelict house in Darlinghurst, and later, a tiny flat in Elizabeth Bay. These were modest, crumbling spaces, but they were hers. She filled them with her pets, her altars, her books, and the remnants of her once boisterous bohemian circle. So, as the counterculture of the 1960s exploded worldwide, Rosaleen, who had been doing all of this for decades earlier, suddenly looked like less of a scandal and more like a pioneer, right? But by then she was already withdrawing from public life. But still, she would have like journalists who would come, especially when there was what was called the Satanic Panic. And so journalists in Australia would be like, well, let's talk to an actual occultist from, you know, Australia. And they would ask her, and she would be like, you know what? It is dangerous to delve into the kind of occult if you don't know what you're doing. But actually, it's a beautiful thing. It's like been my connection to the world. So she was still trying to be like, yeah, you guys just don't get it, you know? They were like, oh.
Yeah, she's got her own thing going on, isn't she?
She does.
And it's like, yeah, stop with all these wannabes wanting to be... Well, also, I guess, you know, it wasn't for clout for her, or it wasn't for, like, shock value of being all about Satan, right? It's just a celebration of, you know, what she believed to be a deep, deep understanding of...
that was her belief.
Worldly things.
Yeah, that was her belief system. She truly believed, you know, in the plasmic realm, and she believed that she was talking to a friend, and she believed, this connection, and that she was visited by all these, gods and stuff.
Yeah. Well, people go to church. Why not? I mean,
exactly. For her, that was just that. Exactly. So, the parties, the salons, the chaos of King's Cross, she kind of stepped back from all of it. Friends described her later years as peaceful but lonely. She still created art, though. She still worshipped Pan, and she still believed deeply in the unseen world she'd spent her life exploring, but she no longer sought an audience. Her health declined in the 1970s. She was diagnosed with colon cancer and spent really sad. Spent her final days at the Sacred Heart Hospice in Darlinghurst, which must have been really awful for her because she was this pagan and she was like in a Catholic hospice. Probably being like, oh, you would not like me. You would not like what I've done. Can I show you some photographs? Wait, hang on.
Where's the Pan?
Gets the Polaroids out.
Hey.
Ellie and me. Here you go.
Well, they didn't have the Pan hospital, I guess, did they?
That was one of our last nights with Meggy Love in the back.
Karaoke, karate.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu bit. But yeah, it's the same. I'll give you that last one. Last one, because he'll be jealous otherwise. Big Wes.
Hey, Big Wes.
Love him.
And none of me.
Well, you'd gone that same day.
No one whipped the Polaroid out before in the 2.5 weeks that we spent together. No one thought to take a nice
Meggy
picture.
Love,
nice
what are you playing at?
And on the last day, Maeve's gone. Now let's whip the camera out.
Oh yeah,
personal.
It was within the half hour. We devoured the Tim Tams and took Polaroids. No, we didn't.
Well, just know I remember.
You'll be hexing us. So even at the end, she kept her characteristic defiance. One of her last quotes was, quote, "I came into the world bravely. I'll go out bravely." Then she passed away on December the 5th, 1979, in her beloved city of Sydney.
Oh, wow.
Bless her heart. So what a life. I'll just tell you quickly before I end the legacy after, because these are one of those people forgotten from history, kind of, I guess, judged when they were fucking, in the life. But after her death, her paintings, once scattered across the cross, hanging in cafes, bars, and the homes of friends, were all gathered by a single collector, Jack Parker, who displayed them in his hotel. Good old Wally Glover, whose career had been wrecked by the obscenity trial, republished The Art of Rosaleen Norton because he gained the copyright once she'd passed in 1982. And this time, the world was ready for it, and it found a much more appreciative audience. So we can buy it, baby. Her influence only grew. Her life inspired plays, exhibitions, and a wave of renewed academic interest. Occult historian Neville Drury wrote multiple biographies, culminating in Homage to Pan in 2009. Major exhibitions of her work toured Australia and New Zealand, including one called Windows to the Sacred, which reframed her not as a scandalous oddity, but as a serious esoteric artist. There we are again, the word. Filmmakers circled her story for decades, sensing its cinematic potential. Finally, though, in 2021, Sonia Bible released a documentary, The Witch of King's Cross, featuring interviews with people who knew Rosaleen personally. Yep. A long overdue attempt to let her speak in her own voice. Today, Rosaleen Norton is remembered not as a tabloid caricature, but as a trailblazing occultist, a visionary artist, and a woman who lived entirely on her own terms. Her life was messy, chaotic, brave, but utterly original. And that is exactly why she still fascinates people. So next time you're in King's Cross, Sydney, look out for the plaque that marks her presence, a quiet reminder of the spellbinding woman who refused to fit into any box society tried to put her in. And that's the story of Rosaleen Norton.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you
That's
enjoy
wild. And what a time to... You said she died in the 70s. What a time to be alive. I mean, not what a time to be alive, but don't you think that's wild that she, knew 2 world wars?
That is mad.
And spanned... And well, I mean, I guess we can talk, or our grandparents, I guess anyone who lives a long life probably goes through a lot of change because it's far away.
Yeah,
but just
true.
to be born in the late 17.
Yeah. Imagine
And
what
then
world wars we're going
in
to
the
go through.
70s, sure, but what society, how much it changed since then, in
So
terms
true.
of liberation and the view of this occult and spiritualism and, the breaking out of conservatism. Like, obviously there's still things that massively existed in that time and still exist today. But, as you said, the counterculture had kind of risen and there's a lot more other voices to be heard by that point. And back then it's all
Madness.
yeah, going through the 20s and stuff.
Yeah, being born in 1917. I mean, it's pretty great. And then dying in late 70s.
Yeah.
It's like, and she
Well,
didn't
young, I
die
guess.
quite young too, Bless her.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of, I guess even all the surrealists, they were completely
Yeah.
wacko people, weren't they? I mean, the thing is, creative and different people have always existed. You've just got to know where to look for them.
And you'll find them all on our podcast, Breaking Bad.
Doodle-doo-doo-doo.
Well, thank you so much again, Maeve, for that episode. And listeners, please, if you can, comment on Spotify, give us 5 stars, let us know what you really liked about the episode and what other episodes you'd like to hear. And actually, we will have a mini bard episode with Maeve, where we will be, as our new tradition, toasting something or someone that she loved of the story and just chatting a bit more about Maeve and finding out more. So please join us there. But again, thank you so much for joining, Maeve.
Thanks for having me, Kaine. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Love you, my Australian witch. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Breaking Bad. Now that we're breaking bad. Now that we're